make it look like a suicide. Everything's fine up until then. And he opposes the government. And he stands it down against the government, and the government says, right, okay, he's got to go. He goes. Simple as that. You just get bumped off. Who else? Who else, I wonder, who's been bumped off? Was Cilla Black bumped off in Spain? Because she was far. Oh, she was up in. Oh, you should have seen her face when her pal Max Clifford was found guilty. Oof, the anger. What did she know? That she, all of a sudden, slips. Hey? Bangs her head and dies. Wow! How convenient. Hey? And you can go all the way round this buggering stuff and you find, how convenient was that death? How convenient was that death? Lord Janet was to spill the pig in beans and the establishment protected him. Said he wasn't fit for trial because of his age and his physical health. And yet the person out here on the street who is in the same physical state, health, age, etc., is dragged to court. They didn't want him into court. You know, what the hell's he got to lose? If the court turns pig in hand and says, you know, you get an honest judge. I mean, the establishment, if they can put into place a bent judge, they will. But if they can't, they won't chance it. They won't pig and chance it. In some cases, they won't chance it. In others, they can do it. But in other cases, you know, it's to and fro, just like life is. You got to get rid of the pigging person. With Janet, they covered his tracks. They covered him. He's not going to court. The government had no right. Solicitors had no right. The establishment had no right to deny him to go into the court. They had no right, no power, no authority. But you see the corruptness of the courts in this also. There are so many persons dealt with by the establishment, and it does raise the question of them counts. What standing have they in the establishment to be protected by the establishment over disposing of the body of their child, Madeline? These things we take as being part and parcel of life. We don't get upset, we get angry, because these so-and-sos, you'd like to frigging throttle them, like to see every bugger hanged from a street lamppost as a warning to others, get the buggers out and string them up. But of course you're not allowed to do that. That's how it is. Cromwell had it right, closed down pig in Parliament. Yeah, a bunch of nasty people. But Paisley, of all people, Ian Paisley, who worked with the establishment, who worked with Sinn Féin, who entertained, let's get this straight, entertained the enemies of the British people and the Northern Irish people, the Scottish, the Welsh people, all citizens of the United Kingdom. He entertained behind doors the enemies, our enemies. You know, he sat down with Martin McGuinness in Paisley's home. A tight-fisted bugger he was. Paisley was tight-fisted. I tell you what, he got a crowbar and you try and open his wallet, you bend the crowbar. He was tight pigging fisted, you know. Anyhow, he's there, and it's Christmas. One instance was where it was Christmas, you know, 25th of December. You can call it Christmas, whatever. 25th of December, anyhow. And Martin McGuinness is there, they're drinking wine, and breaking the turkey. Hello, Martin, come in here, open up, break a cracker with you, boy. And then on the following days, Martin McGuinness, hey? And then when Paisley got off his soapbox, behind closed doors, he was not only entertaining the likes of Martin McGuinness, a murderer, but also teaching him, had been doing that for years. At least 2 years at the last count, he was teaching him high office, how to act, how to proceed, the legal procedures, etc. of high office. Do you know what? There's another one, Hume. He used to have a law at Hume. Oh, David Hume. David Hume used to have to come into his home, into Paisley's home, and was entertained. Do you know, if you were to get his wife, Paisley's wife, tip her upside down, shake her out, she'll tell you all this. But one of the things that really was justice in all this with Paisley and his mates from Sinn Féin IRA was that Ian Paisley destroyed, with Sinn Féin IRA, the lives of many people. So many people. Murdered them, maimed them, traumatised them, fueled the bombings and the shootings and the kidnappings. He was one with the lot, with his association with the IRA, and of course fueled the fires by his rhetoric. The thing about it is, when he got to be the First Minister of Stormont put in place again for him to be the First Minister. It wasn't long afterwards, that he sold Northern Ireland out in a so-called Good Friday Agreement, and shortly after that he died. That's justice. He died. And then who should follow? His pal, Martin McGuinness. Isn't that justice? That's without the government, any British government interference. They both died according to the higher government. They both died. They never lived to enjoy the fruits of their labour, of murdering people, maiming people, traumatising people, whole families, destroyed and distraught, human beings for their own dirty, political, filthy ends. And how dare anybody say that Ian Paisley was a Christian? He was of his father the devil, and what he did is what his father does. He's a monster. Paisley is a monster. And I believe the Puritans when they say that these persons don't die, they just pass on and drop into hell and are tormented. And as the Puritans equally said, if there's no judgment for these so-and-sos hereafter, then we would be like most men, most miserable, because we demand justice. We demand it. And they were quite right. These persons were cut off. Paisley was cut off. wickedness was cut off. Comes to them. Comes to them. Good people are good people, and wickedness is wickedness with the wicked. But this is your Ian Paisley for you. This is your Ian Paisley, the performer. Aye. And do you know something else in closing? He was every bit an MP. Do you know that his DUP offices in Northern Ireland was the most expensive rented offices outside of Parliament? Do you know something? All of a sudden, who owned those premises but his father-in-law? Keep it in the family. Yeah, I can tell you some pigging stories. I can tell you some stories about this fella. And I met him once. I met him face to face once. In Liverpool. And I'll tell you what. I looked into his eyes. It's like looking at the devil. And there was fear. Absolute, abject fear of death. It was only some time after I was reading an article, and I was coming across Ian Paisley, and it said how he had cheated death by having a pacemaker fitted. And I thought at the time, that is exactly what I saw in his eyes. Because wickedness had caught up with him. It caught up with him. It caught up with him. Wouldn't let him go. The Grim Reaper had come for him. Turned off his battery. Bump. He went. Huh? Aye. Took out his lithium battery there, chucked it to one side, Grim Reaper, got a hook on it, hooked it out, thump, you're dead, come with me. Hey? Gone screaming down like the ghost. Anyhow, that is past. Point being is that we have to be very careful about the people who come with their theatre. Don't we? The Alex Joneses, the Ian Paisleys, the Farages, it's all theatre. We've got to be very, very careful not to be drawn in by the theatre of men. I see it to myself. I see it to myself, and I can see why others are drawn in. It's so easy to be drawn in. But this Ian Paisley was one nasty piece of work. What's this? Scruffy? I don't know if there are any more of Paisley on here. Blunt. Blunt. Hey, while Kirsten continues abuse. But if you wish to find out more, it is on this Kincora abuse victim Richard Kerr names MPs and celebrities news article November 2017. Kincora abuse victim Richard Kerr. I mean, that's all you'd have to put in the Google, wouldn't it? Kincora abuse victim Richard Kerr names MPs. Okay.